11th of September 2001 became a dark day for America's history, which changed American history forever. On this day, many big cities of America like New York, Washington, D.C., Shanksville, and Pennsylvania were attacked by terrorists, which caused the death of nearly 3,000 people. There were several attacks on this day, one after the other, for which no one knew when the next attack would be. All the attacks were so big that in just a few hours, many large American buildings were destroyed, and the whole of America was engulfed by the blast of the attacks. The atmosphere was so serious and delicate that American President George W. Bush was airbound for about 8 hours that day. On the advice of the Pentagon and the CIA, they were airbounded for the safety of the president. On that day, no place on the American earth was safe. Some people were emptying the attack areas, while others were running to those places in search of their families, friends, and relatives. Neither the government knew, nor the media. Everyone was in doubt as to who would be the next target of the attack. However, after 3 airplanes collided with the World Trade Center and the Pentagon one after the other, the American government had stopped all flights, and after 3 attacks, there was no attack. In fact, the terrorists had hijacked 4 planes, but the 4th was destroyed before destroying any place. The credit of saving America from the 4th attack goes to the passengers, who did not let the hijackers do this by risking their lives, and faced them bravely on the plane, due to which the plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania before it reached its destination. After the attacks, where on the one hand America was trying to gather itself, on the other hand, the doubt of the U.S. government began to circulate around the world. American agencies immediately began to put their eyes on countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, and Sudan. These days, America was also suspicious of Saddam Hussein of Iraq, but soon Al-Qaeda took the responsibility of these explosions. At that time, Al-Qaeda was led by Osama bin Laden. Then the FBI and CIA started a search operation to find Laden. And with that, America started counting the time of Osama's death. After World War II, this was the first attack on America in which thousands of innocent Americans were killed. Suddenly, this attack raised questions about America's security and intelligence. America could not accept itself helpless in front of the whole world. That's why taking 9/11's revenge and ending Laden became America's top priority. And that was the reason why the $25 million prize alone was placed on Osama bin Laden's head. America took 10 years to complete this revenge. But the question is, why did this attack happen? Why was the American people given death in this way? And why did America take 10 years to take revenge? 9/11 was a terrorist attack that shook America, which had been sowed in the Cold War many years ago. It began in 1979 in Afghanistan, where America began to support Mujahideen fighters to remove the USSR from Afghanistan, and gave birth to a terrorist who was going to be the biggest headache for America. Osama bin Laden was from a rich family in Saudi Arabia. His education was also very good. Despite coming from a big business family, Laden always advocated for conservative thoughts. As he grew up, his pro-Islamic thoughts made him very radical. Laden thought Islamic teachings were the best. He thought that Islam should be a religion, and society should run according to the law. Laden always blamed Western countries for destroying Islamic culture. He always considered Western countries, especially America, to be enemies of Islamic countries and Islam. In the Israel-Palestine war, America always supported Israel against Arab countries. Laden was always angry with these things. Laden's constant hatred for the USA joined him with the Islamic extremist group. His speeches and his financial support began to reach many Islamic countries, and his influence also increased a lot among the extremist Islamic groups. When America attacked Iraq in the Gulf War of 1990 and 1991, Osama bin Laden took it as a blow to Islam and religion. Laden did not like America's growing influence in Muslim countries, especially in Muslim countries such as Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Somalia. American intervention was increasing. On top of that, America's support of Israel was also a proof of hatred towards Islam. In such a situation, Osama bin Laden became anti-America. Earlier, Laden was fighting against the Soviet Union along with America. Now he has taken his own stand against America. In 1979, when the troops of the USSR in Afghanistan were trying to support the communist government there, it was then that Laden began to provide financial support to Mujahideen, whose purpose was to stop the growing influence of the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. These days, America was training the youth of Afghanistan to become Mujahideen and was supporting them in every way so that they could get the USSR out of Afghanistan. But at that time, America had no idea that their action would provide such a great moral support to those who spread violence in Islamic countries in the name of jihad. Those days, Laden was also connected to the Mujahideen and was promoting jihad. However, until now, the USA felt that this extremist group made with their support is only against the USSR. But Laden had sworn to spread jihad and Islam all over the world. In such a situation, how long would America be able to stay away from this fire of hatred? Every move of America began to trouble Laden. After which, in August 1996, Laden issued a fatwa against America and declared jihad. In February 1998, Laden issued a second fatwa saying that wherever Americans are seen in the world, they should be killed. Not only to the soldiers and leaders, but this fatwa was for every citizen of America. After the 9/11 attack, Laden wrote a letter to the American people. In it, he said that the American government has always been against Islam and supports them in all anti-Islamic activities in the world. That is why it is very important to punish him. In this letter, Laden clearly wrote how America killed Muslims in Somalia. When Muslims were being killed in Chechnya, America supported Russia. In addition, he wrote about many such issues due to which his hatred for America continued to grow. The CIA was already targeting Al-Qaeda and Al-Adin. In such a situation, when there were attacks on such a large level in America, they did not take long to understand who was behind all this. In those days, Al-Qaeda was led by Osama bin Laden. The CIA, the American intelligence agency, knew very well that no matter how good their relations with Saudi Arabia were, but the way America had always supported Israel in the Arab-Israeli war. Because of that, it had considered America the biggest enemy of the devil in Islam. Osama bin Laden, born in Saudi Arabia, was very angry with the interference of America in the matters of Islamic countries, and he had planned this attack on America. At that time, bin Laden's residence was Afghanistan, and the Taliban government was in Afghanistan. America demanded Osama bin Laden from the Taliban, but the Taliban rejected America's demand. When America could not get any news of Laden, the United States joined forces of many countries in NATO to start a global war on terrorism and declared war on Afghanistan. Many economic sanctions were imposed on Afghanistan, and bombing was started. After this, American soldiers started search operations in Afghanistan to catch bin Laden. But despite many operations, no news of Laden was received. Osama bin Laden did not use any phones since 1998. This was also known to the CIA, the American intelligence agency, because in 1998, Osama bin Laden had attacked the American embassy in Kenya and Tanzania and had made America his enemy. He used to tell his story from one place to another with the help of his companions. However, after a month, the CIA received a report about Osama bin Laden being hidden in the mountains of Tora Bora, located on the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan. Then what was it? The US-led armed forces raided the Tora Bora cave. This attack of the Allied troops was one of the most important military engagements of the Afghanistan war. From the 30th of November 2001 to the 17th of December 2001, during this operation, the American troops started this operation with the Northern Alliance against the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. In this operation, the United Air Forces of Britain and Germany with the United States started such an airstrike that all the mountains began to be destroyed. In a month and 17 days of this operation, more than 200 terrorists who defended Osama bin Laden were killed. But even after such a sharp operation, America was disappointed. In fact, during this entire operation, Laden entered Pakistan through the border of Afghanistan, avoiding every attack. Although Osama bin Laden was not found in this operation, but some such people were definitely caught who were ever in contact with Laden. The CIA tried to search for bin Laden with all these links, but years passed, and failure kept coming every time. For many years, search operations for Osama bin Laden continued like this, but no significant change came in this matter until 2009. This year, elections took place in America and America got a new president. On January 20th, 2009, Barack Obama becomes the new president of America. As soon as Obama becomes president, he orders to speed up search operations against Laden. Finding Osama is the top priority of the Obama administration. As soon as orders come from the government, intelligence and defense units also take action. Even after the speed of search operations, the CIA had not yet received any special information. However, at that time, the CIA found out about a Pakistani courier of Osama bin Laden through detainees in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, whose name was Osama bin Laden, Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, after which the CIA began to keep an eye on it. In 2007, the CIA found out its real name. Its real name was Ibrahim Syed Ahmed. It was an important part of Al-Qaeda and the favorite courier of Laden. Now the CIA had the first real link to the location of bin Laden. After almost 2 years of searching for bin Laden's courier and his location, in 2009, the CIA also found out about this man that he lives in Abbottabad, Pakistan. But in the middle of December 2009, there was once again such an incident with the American intelligence agency that shook the whole of America. In fact, the CIA had built its base camp and checkpoint in a vast province of Afghanistan, located near the Afghanistan and Pakistan border. The CIA used this base camp to keep an eye on the entire area. It was also known what was happening inside the border of Pakistan by drone. On December 30th, 2009, when the whole world was awake in the hope of a new year, a Taliban suicide bomber blasted itself near the checkpoint. This blast killed 7 CIA operatives along with the Taliban suicide bomber. This incident had now broken all the ties of America's patience. And to complete the operation that was going on slowly till now, the CIA had put the full pressure on it. By August 2010, the CIA operative followed al-Kuwaiti, which finally brought him to residence in Abbottabad. For the next year, the CIA operative followed al-Kuwaiti. Tracking the daily work of al-Kuwaiti, he was seen coming and going in a secure compound in a surprising manner. The CIA has now suggested that this building is a safe house and has been built to hide an important person. However, there was no right to take any action due to the assumption, so the CIA started taking satellite photos of this fortress-like building and the people coming and going here. Many people used to come and go here often, but no one had ever seen the city of Laden here. However, after studying the structure of the building, the CIA decided this place has been prepared to hide Osama bin Laden. On the basis of pictures and evidence, the CIA believed that in this building, Laden lives with some of his special people and his youngest wife and children. Although only assumptions were made so far, whose confirmation was very important. And that's why the CIA made a new plan to verify these assumptions. According to the plan, the CIA sent a Pakistani doctor, Shakil Afridi, and some nurses to that house as an excuse for vaccination. Dr. Shakil Afridi was one of the top doctors in the Khyber tribal district, and as the head of health services, he had seen many US-funded vaccination programs. For this reason, when the CIA gave him the task of entering the building, he made an excuse for the vaccination program and entered the garrison town of Abbottabad as a government employee, where Osama bin Laden was hiding under the nose of the Pakistani military. Now, according to the CIA plan, some nurses would go to Abbottabad compound and take blood samples of the children living there. With the help of those blood samples, DNA tests can be done to find out whether the children living in the building have any relation with bin Laden or not. After this fake vaccination program, no one knew how much Dr. Shakil could help the CIA, but after bin Laden's death 20 days later, on May 23, 2011, Dr. Shakil was taken into custody by the Pakistani intelligence agency ISI, after which he was sentenced to 33 years in prison for helping the CIA. The 9/11 attack was 9 years ago and was still under the search of the American intelligence agency Osama bin Laden. But then one day, the director of the CIA, Leon Panetta, and his companions met President Barack Obama and informed him that they had initial information about Osama bin Laden. In fact, the CIA had seen a man coming out with a loud voice in the big fortress building of Abbottabad during its surveillance, which was named the Pressure by the CIA officers. There was no phone or landline facility in this house. Even the people who picked up the garbage in the surrounding houses used to take the garbage. But the garbage of this house was burned inside. The CIA had guessed that the Pressure is Osama bin Laden. After this, President Barack Obama was informed about the attack on this house by making a three-dimensional structure of this area. It was planned that America would not give Pakistan information about this operation. But Hillary Clinton believed that if this was done, then the relations between America and Pakistan could get bad. After that, the decision was taken to end the matter, that if Pakistan gets to know about this operation during the operation, then the American ambassador will immediately talk to the Pakistani government and take care of the matter. The target of this operation was to capture Osama bin Laden and the people living in that building. The CIA officers had a plan that if Osama and his companions surrendered, they would be caught alive. After the plan was approved, the U.S. Navy SEAL was now ready to raid Pakistan's Abbottabad. It was now time for the CIA, which had been searching for Osama for years, to execute its plan. This was the day of April 29, 2011. The entire team was now ready to complete the operation. Before starting the operation, the American Navy's SEAL Team 6 countered all kinds of potential threats by doing mock drills 6 times, so that they could not escape at any cost. On the 1st of May 2011, President Barack Obama reviewed this operation well and approved this plan. 2 Black Hawk UH-60 helicopters were prepared for this operation, and in this operation, 23 best commandos of SEAL Team 6, a translator who knew the Pakistani language, and a military dog were included named Cairo. On May 1, 2011, at 10:30 a.m., both Black Hawk helicopters of the U.S. Air Force flew from Jalalabad to Abbottabad, Pakistan. President Barack Obama was watching this operation live with CIA Director Leon Panetta. It was almost 12:30 in the night. By this time, the entire area of Abbottabad was deserted, and there was no electricity in the area. In the dark night, the entire city was sleeping in deep sleep. The Navy SEAL team had reached Abbottabad to complete the operation. SEAL soldiers were entering the 3-story building. The ground floor was completely empty. The soldiers of the SEALs reached the first floor of the building. Then they hear someone's roar on the first floor. The soldiers are unable to reach the door by taking the position, but in the meantime, the firing starts rapidly from the other side. The team of SEALs who were saving themselves blew the whole door with a grenade. As soon as they saw it, the SEAL soldiers had entered the door. As long as the other person had the opportunity, the soldiers had done their job. In fact, in this first shock, Osama bin Laden's courier, Abrar, and his wife Bushra were killed. In the second room of the same first floor, Osama bin Laden's second courier, Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, was sleeping. And looking at the SEALs, as long as Abu Ahmed took his gun in his hand, the soldiers also killed him. Bin Laden used to live in that house on the 2nd and 3rd floor. The SEALs team also received instructions that Osama bin Laden also lives with his wife and children. The SEALs officer had no intention of harming his wife and children. In the meantime, the SEALs team reached the 2nd floor, when a young boy stood there with a gun in his hand. But as long as the boy attacked, the SEALs team also killed him. This was Osama bin Laden's son Khalid. There were also some other people in the rooms who were taken into custody by the SEALs team. After this, the officers moved to the 3rd floor. Then a door opens in front of the room, after which Osama bin Laden and the soldiers of the SEALs were in front of us. But then, a woman stands in front of Osama bin Laden. The SEALs officers could not leave Laden at any cost, so they shot the woman on the foot. Due to the shooting, the woman fell to the ground, after which the SEALs officers dropped 3 bullets into Osama bin Laden's chest. At the same time, Laden fell to the ground and collapsed. American President Barack Obama and CIA Director were watching this operation live, and nothing was visible on the screen for about 20 minutes. The screen was only black. Because of this, the anxiety of the officials sitting in the room with Barack Obama was increasing. After 40 minutes of this operation, at 1 a.m. on the screen, CIA Director Leon Panetta says to the President, "Enemy killed in action." Finally, the main purpose of the operation was fulfilled, and 4 more people were killed in this operation apart from Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden's son Khalid, courier Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, Abu's brother Abrar, and Abrar's wife Bushra. Hearing the news of Osama's death, a wave of joy raged in the room from Barack Obama to all the officials sitting in the room. But now was not the time to express happiness. Now was waiting for the American forces to return from Pakistan. And after a while, without any damage, all the members of the SEAL safely reached their base. That too with Osama's dead body. During this operation, America had not communicated with Pakistan in any way. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs Staff, Michael Mullen, called Pakistan's Army Chief Ashfaq Parvez Kayani at 3 a.m. and gave information about this operation. In the morning, President Barack Obama told the world, addressing the world, that America has killed Osama bin Laden. 4 days after Osama bin Laden's death on May 6th, Al-Qaeda confirmed Osama bin Laden's death through its website. At the same time, they also swore that Al-Qaeda would definitely take revenge from America. A few days later, Osama bin Laden's body was dumped in the ocean because Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan refused to take the body of Laden. Laden, who became a jihadi in the name of religious warfare all his life, did not even have a funeral at the last moment. Pakistan's Prime Minister Yusuf Raza made a commission for the investigation, which in the report of the investigation revealed the failure of Pakistan's intelligence agency behind Osama bin Laden's hiding in Pakistan. And in this way, America finally finished Osama bin Laden.